Okay, I'm working on this 2013 Dodge Dart. I'm going to be showing you how to replace this driver's side mount or this transmission mount over here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And we've already got our replacement mount. So it's a really pretty good size mount. And you can get a good indicator of where your bolt and stuff is going to be by looking at the replacement too. Okay, so this mount is making a lot of noise. I wanted to crank it up and see if you could even hear it. But it really makes a lot of noise when you're driving this. So if you have one of these mounts that are going bad, you're going to know it when you go to taking it off. And let's put it in gear. You can kind of hear the vibration once you get it in gear. So very noisy. Okay, so got the hood up here. Okay, very first thing I'm going to get the battery out. Got a 10mm. Okay, now right down here you should have a retainer that you would, I think it's there, that you're going to need to take out. This one's missing. And yes, it is down there. You can see the bolt hole it's supposed to go into. So I'm going to lift this out of here. Okay, we're going to have to remove the decorative cover here, or whatever. Engine cover. First we're going to start with this connector right here. You're going to push down, pull that off. Now also right down here you can see a 7mm. We've got a 7mm band. If I can get that wire out of the way there. So right here we got a 7mm. We're just going to go in there with our extension and loosen that up. Okay, I had to get a shorter extension. And that should be plenty loose enough for that. Okay, now over here we've got an 8mm band. Just going to loosen that up. Now we should be able to just slip that off there. You could also slip this side if you have too much difficulty. You can squeeze this together, get this completely out of the way. Okay, so I just pulled that out of there. Just make sure you put that notched end back where it goes up here. Alright, so we should have this loosened up. Okay, and it still has to pop under the cowl here. Let me get a setup that actually won't fall, but we should be able to start popping this up. And it's going to have to go under that cowl, but usually you can kind of wiggle it around and work it out from under there, no problem. So we got it loose. And then we take that whole piece, that pops down on the throttle body over there. We got that whole piece out of the way. Okay, next thing what we want to do is we want to get this computer out of the way. We're going to disconnect these harnesses. They got little locks, or they should have. This one's broken. You push in with your fingernail and you should be able to lift that tab. I'm not going to be able to do it with one hand though. But anyways, we've got to get on that next. Okay, so push that in with your thumb and then just lift that. These are color coded, so you can't mix them up. This one, the lock is broke. Now what I recommend is getting some tape and putting over this and this so nothing's getting in there. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is take 1, 2, 3 10 millimeters, and this is just what holds the computer box here. We're going to just take these out, and then we'll put them back on so we're not losing them. Okay, there are those. Now there's also, you want to take note, there's a ground, because right here on this bottom one, make sure to put that back. But this will just come off of here now, and that way we just have that out of the way. Okay, I'm just going to take these wires for now. I'm going to kind of push them back over here out of the way. Okay, so we're going to have, see, there's 1, 2, 3, and 4 of these 13 millimeters holding this battery tray all together. And the most difficult ones would be the ones under here. And it's difficult to show you how I'm going about getting these, but I have a extension 13 millimeter. And what I do is just go under here and just kind of feel along the bottom of the box. You're going to have one on each side. The one over here kind of above the shifter is a little more difficult, but you see that I'm going under there, feeling for it. And I can't guarantee, you know, how tight they are. These aren't just terribly tight, but this has been taken off before. So this is coming pretty easy. Okay, so I'm just reaching here getting, that's the first one. Okay, so I'm getting the second one here. Like I said, you can feel the plastic and just feel the, you know, the plastic is going in. These are going in horizontally there through the plastic, and once you kind of feel the plastic, you find the 13 millimeters. Just 2 of them. Okay, so there's the second one. Now I want you to keep in mind that there's going to be wires clipped to this thing too. A lot of them I have removed and haven't put back. Like right here, there's one. So you got to take a trim tool and pop any wires. You know, once you get it loose, you'll figure out where the wires are, and you're just basically going to unsnap those wires. So to show you one, we got one right here that's clipped in the box. Okay, right here is a 10 millimeter coming through this junction box that we need to get, that's going into the battery tray. And then we're going to have 2 more out here in, or I'm sorry, 1 more 13, and then there's also a 10. So there's 2 more bolts, but there's a 10 going through the windshield washer tank. Now you can see that somebody has cut this in half. I'm going to be actually putting another one back in here, but normally you wouldn't be able to get this out. Okay, we're going to need to pop this up, go in this junction box. Okay, so as you can see here, this junction box is also kind of right in our way, so we have to get this out of the way. Now what we're going to do, we've got a 10 millimeter nut. You don't have to take that off, loosen it up. We've got a 10 millimeter here, but on top of that we've got to remove the wires from inside the box here, so you need to pay attention and label what you need to label. But like right here, this is going to be clipped to the box, so you're going to have to take your trim tool and pop that up. This one here will be clipped as well. And so you got to have a trim tool, because they're really stubborn. So I'm going to unclip those. Okay, so we got those unclipped. Like I said, both of these are running right through this area. So you want to pay attention to where these are routing. This one just has a couple of clips you pull out on each side. It pops that out. So we'll lay that over out of the way. Okay, so we've got a wire right over here, power wire, clipped to the side of it there. And we've got this wire that has a clip. We're going to push in. Let me see if I can get a better angle here. Okay, you see this tab right here, just push in right there and try to wiggle it out of there. All these are really stuck, so that's all there is to that. Okay, now we're going to try, this is like just kind of latched in there, but you can pull it out. We'll lift this part up. We've got this wire clipped to the box. So lots of things clipped to different things. Guess we got that loose. Okay, and then what we're going to do, let's see. Okay, I need to free up this wire and this wire for sure. Possibly even might have to take this one off to get it out of our way, so we might as well do that. But you see they got numbers, it's 6, 8, and this big one goes right underneath this one, so you just want to make sure you put these back exactly where they go. So I'm going to get an 8mm, take these loose, and get these out of the way, and a 10mm and get this loose. So then we can take and remove this wire and be able to slip this one out from underneath it. Then we're going to go ahead, so because I think this is going to get in the way, we're just going to go ahead and take these two 8mm off as well. That way we can get this completely out of our way here. Okay, and the nuts stay on these. Just remember that 6 is over here on this right side and 8's right here. So if you need to label them, label them. But now we freed up these two wires. We can just kind of push that back out of the way. We got these freed up. We can push these back down through the bottom of that box, and we should be able to lift this piece out from under here. And it looks like I could have left this one. I was thinking this one was in the way, but I think it's going to stay. Let's put that back. Okay, so back on these two 10mm, we're going to loosen this one right here up. We'll need to remove it. And I'm going to get this out of the way momentarily. I'm going to completely remove this one here. Okay, with that one back one loose, should be able to pick this up and just get this completely out of the way. And now we can kind of see the mount. Okay, I took a bungee cord and I just wrapped it around that wire that's bolted into it there, just to kind of hold it back out of my way. And that should be plenty far enough. Okay, we've got a bracket right here for this coolant. This is a 10. We'll go ahead and get that out of there. See, we got that freed up. Okay, battery tray, got another 13 right here. Still not going to be free. There's one more going horizontal on the other side where the windshield washer bottle is, and plus a 10mm going through the windshield washer bottle, and it's kind of supporting that. So there's that one. Okay, you can see we got a bolt over here. We should be able to get to it. If not, we'll take, but this right here is not even tight. Not sure why, but we could go ahead and take this and give us some more slack. So since that was loose, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, make sure you chock your rear tires there. Now, if your Dart is like most, you're going to have these capped lug bolts, and what I'm using is a 3/4. You have to tap them on there just because of how they fit. So that's what I'm doing, just going through and breaking all these loose. Okay, just to show you where I'm lifting from there. Okay, we're just going to finish removing all these lugs now. Now the tape I have on this is just to keep from scratching up the inside of the wheel there. And we'll get us a jack stand. Okay, when you get in here, you're going to have to take the snaps and get this inner fender liner out. I've already previously took that out. We'll cover putting it back in. Okay, I just positioned the jack stand right down there. Okay, first up, we got a 10mm right here. So it's on the windshield washer bottle going into the back of this. We need to get that out. And there's that. We've got a couple of wires right here we need to deal with. And there may be more. So some of these have been taken loose, like there's a clip right here as well. Alright, so now you can see right here we've got the other 13. I'm going to come in here, my extension. And this is basically going to get this battery tray out of our way so we can do something. Okay, so there's that final bolt. Okay, barring that you haven't missed any connectors, this will come out of here. So this one had been previously cut in half. Okay, well I guess it's easier said than done. Give me a second. Okay, finally got that loose. I had another wire clipped. Okay, I got my jack over here underneath transmission, and I've put some tension on it. So I've lifted it up enough. I know that I've got tension on the mount. Okay, so I'm really not worried. These are 18mm. I'm just going to take these off. I'm not doing it in any particular order. And then we've got 18 here. We've also got a 13 up there. And there's one back here. Okay, so here's the one in the back here. Okay, so I've got all these here. We just got the one. That one I can't get to. Now the long ones are going into the top of the transmission mount. The short ones going into the frame. All right, so lastly, getting the 13 millimeter. Now I suppose you could have left that one and slid it off, but let me get this out of here. Now let's take a look at this. So this car has right at 100,000 miles. And I want you to look at this. So these are the type of things that you want to check. I don't know. It seems like it's pretty common with some Dodges that I've owned, but 100,000 miles, I wouldn't expect this sort of damage. Okay, so here's the side by side. Right, so we'll go ahead and get this new one set into place. Just putting that bracket for the coolant hose, slide it back under here. And I'm just going to be putting a little medium Loctite on all these. Just wiggle this into place. And so this is 100,000 miles, so I'm, if this one did it at 100,000, so can others. So I would definitely check this mount. If you're getting a lot of vibrations, then you may have a similar issue. This is the 13 that is going here. Now I want to point something else out. I'm just kind of pushing this up into place here. And I notice over here on this mount, and I even lifted this up, that it's still like a ½ inch low at least. So not only the mount failed, but this whole engine transmission setting lower than it should have been. Just to show you here. Okay, so just getting all these loosely in place. So you want to grab your transmission and kind of wiggle it around. So you want to get all these started by hand tighten them before you go taking off with a ratchet, as you may cross thread it. I'm also going to lift this up with the jack a little bit more. Okay, and I'm just running these down. I'm not tightening any of them yet. I'm going to get them all tightened at the same time. Okay, I'm going to go through and torque these to 65 foot-pounds. .65 on these as well. Okay, I'm going to torque this into 37. This is our 13. Okay, I can get the jack out from under here now. We'll just position it back on the frame over there because we're going to need to get the jack staying out later. We're going to get our 10mm back in this coolant line. I wouldn't go more than 80 inch-pounds if you want to torque this. I'm just going to be snugging it up with my little micro ratchet. Okay, this wire is going to clip back there. Okay, let's get this put back together. And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to get this battery tray back in here. Okay, so to get this in, you have to nose this end down under the headlight there first, and then lay it down, and then it'll go no problem. Okay, so I'm just going to start with the bolts up here. You've seen how I took the ones that are coming in under here. So it's very difficult to show you anything there, but that's how I'm going to put them back in. So I'm just working the first one in down here. So these are the most difficult. Just, you can't really see what you're doing. You have to go by feel, and they're really long bolts. So I've got that one. We'll get the one more in the back there. Now another tip for putting these in, you can use a magnet and go under here, and that helps to feed those in. Okay, so I'm just getting these two snugged up here, and then we're going to move over to the fender well. And I need to make sure I've got this one snugged as well. You can also separate this piece as well, but I didn't do that. Okay, before we move on, I'm going to go ahead and set this computer box back in place here. Okay, now I can't forget about this ground wire down here. That goes on that bottom corner. We'll take and snug these up. Okay, so we'll get the gray back on the gray. And the brown back on here. Okay, we're over here in the fender well. We're going to go ahead and get this 13 back in from this side. Let's get this snugged up. Okay, and we got the 10mm for our windshield washer fluid tank here, and this is just another support for it. So as far as the battery tray, I'm not torquing those. It's plastic. I probably wouldn't even go 15 foot-pounds. Now this little one here, no more than probably 80 inch-pounds. So if you care to reclip them, you got a wire clip here and here. Okay, I didn't go over taking this fender flap out. I'll show you putting it back. I've got a bunch of little clips. Looks like I just lost one there. Anyways, you got these little clips, and we've got some various screws that are going to go in. I had these pulled off previously and had them marked and everything. Try to get a clip in this over here first, maybe. So I'm just clipping this side in first here. So if you're lucky enough not to break a lot of your snaps, you'll be able to fasten most of these up here. Now I've got some screws in here, 8mm. Now I would point out there's also a piece coming underneath, and I have had that removed as well. So you know you'll maybe have a few screws or something going into that as well, but you kind of get the idea. So you're just going to have to get a few fender shrouds and things out of your way, and really you probably could bend this back without removing the whole thing. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. I think I'm going to go ahead and just get the wheel back on at this point. We'll get this back on. We'll go ahead and get that jack stand out of the way. Okay, we're just going to snug these up. We'll torque them when we get the vehicle lowered back down. Okay, jack stand is out. Go ahead and get this lowered. Go ahead and torque these to 100 foot-pounds. Just go in a star pattern. Okay, I'm getting ready to get this box back in place. Get my bungee cord. That worked out really well for keeping that out of my way. So we're going to get these wires going back down through here. And then we'll set this back into place, not a big deal. We're going to slide it. Uh-oh. Almost dropped it. But when I do have this ground wire here, I need to reattach that freed up that room earlier. I need to snug that up before I put this in place. Almost forgot about that. Let's get that snugged up. Okay, we're going to pop this back down here. That's going to slide right back underneath that screw and right onto that stud there. Pretty simple to get this out of the way. It's just more of a nuisance than anything. Go ahead and snug these two up. Okay, I'll push this back down in here. Here we got these two that came out of here. We need to reconnect. And then it kind of clips back down there in the box. And this one And it clips over here on the side. So got all the wires. Okay, and we got our wires here. The big one goes there. The smaller one goes right beside it. And then the 8 goes here. And the number 6 goes right here. Snuggles up a little bit with my micro ratchet. All right, so everything looks good. We also got the 10 millimeter. Okay, we're ready to get the battery in. This one actually has the piece to clamp it. It's got a thing over here that kind of keeps it tight too. All right, we'll get our clamp down in here first thing. And it's got a 10 millimeter extension here. You want to be careful not to over tighten those because you can break them and then they won't tighten anymore. Okay, so we got that snug down. Okay, so I'm just getting ready to set this back under here. Gotta get moved the right way. Okay, so I got the 7 millimeter band snugged back up here. Or make this connection. Okay, we're going to crank it up and just see how it sounds here now. All right, so I'm going to crank it up and see if I can tell a difference. It definitely sounds a lot better so far, even just sitting here idle. I'm going to have to take it down the road to really tell. But I know that the other mount's going to have to be dealt with next. But it sounds a lot better. I think this was probably 90% of it. All right, so I took it down the road. It's sounding 100% better. I still got a little bit of vibration on that other mount. We're going to get on that next, but this is sounding a lot better. And I mean, you've seen the condition of this mount. It is completely separated in there. So tremendous amount of vibration coming from that transmission, and that is all went away. So anyways, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it, found it helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up. As always, I invite you to subscribe, and thanks for watching.